it away, Christie, and maybe tell them, you know, just a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
You guys all have your heads down. You're all focused.
Yeah.
You're in Pinterest. I can tell you're in Pinterest land. Can you guys hear me?
She's like, all right, people, get line.
Okay, Pinterest is like it's like a rabbit hole that you go down, and then 4 hours later, you realize you haven't eaten, and you're still on Pinterest.
How do you know what I do at home?
Right?
Diet plan.
It is.
Pinterest diet, unless you're pinning to your food board.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah, avoid that one.
All right, so I listened in on Lisa's presentation, so I just want to say amen to everything Lisa said. So keep all that stuff that she said like in your mind as you're doing your boards, and as we're talking about the tech stuff, because even as you learn all this kind of tech stuff and software stuff, the underlying like skeleton and backbone of it all is everything that Lisa talked to you about: the branding, the why you're doing what you're doing, the who you're doing it for, you know, and you, all the parts of you. So it's a super great time to be doing this kind of business, because we have these tools like Canva and PicMonkey and Pixlr and Photoshop and the whole Adobe suite that really, honestly, even the free stuff and the paid stuff is not that big of a money investment for us. So we have the capability to share our work, promote ourselves in a way that's much easier than people did 20 years ago when I started designing. So design is it's a much easier thing to accomplish than it was, you know, when I started. So I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Christie Halmick. I have a business called Jules Branch, and for the past 20 years I have been a designer, and in the last 3 years I've actually started teaching design. And so that it's been a great transition for me. It's very interesting taking a skill that you do and know and have done and know in and out, and helping people learn that. It's very empowering to teach, and it's very it's just wonderful to see everybody learn these skills and feel empowered to be in charge of their branding. So I have just a couple things I want to talk about, and then I'm going to switch over and take an actual look and get in and open up Canva and kind of walk you through some things there. Does that sound good?
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to maximize your screen here, so I just have to, you keep talking, I'm just going to maximize the screen here.
Okay. I can't see. Okay, there we go. So I just a couple things to keep in mind, and Lisa touched on some of these things. Everything that you do is really beta. So if we take the software kind of look at our branding and say, we put out our branding and it's a work in progress. And that's great. It does not have to be perfect for you to get your website up, for you to market yourself. Canva, for example, the software that we're going to be working in, it's beta. They put it out. They said, here it is. It's not perfect, but come use it. And it's very useful software, even in beta phase. So I want you to keep that in mind as you're learning software, doing your graphics, building your brands. It's a work in progress. Things are going to change. Things are going to get better. But there's power in putting it out, getting yourself out there. There's this myth that everybody has about pretty much every profession there is, that it's easy, and that you just show up, designers just show up, they put the fonts and the colors down, and boom, there's your graphic. So I want to tell you that that's never the case, and it's probably never the case in your field either. You don't just sit down one day, boom, your painting's done, you know, all that. So just keep that in mind when you are doing these graphics and actually getting in and working on your stuff, that it takes work, and that's good, and that's fine, and that's the process. The process isn't a lightning bolt always. Part of part of being the owner of your business and your brand director, which Lisa talked about, is making decisions. And so if you are holding up promoting yourself, promoting your work, getting your website up because you won't make a decision about a font or a color, I want you to stop doing that. There's no reason to hold your work away from the world because you can't make a decision about a color or a font. Make a decision, be the CEO, be the brand director, and make those decisions. And know that you can make this decision now, and 6 months later, you have the skills, you can rectify that decision if it was the wrong decision. And most of the time, color decisions and font decisions aren't the wrong decision. They're just a spectrum of where your brand is going and moving and all that kind of stuff. So allow yourself to be a decider, to say, all right, by 5 o'clock Friday, I'm going to pick my font, and I'm going to live with that font for my logo till 6 months from now when I take a refresh and look at my brand again. Don't hold your work hostage to little tiny decisions like that. It doesn't do your work service. It doesn't do the people that need your work service. It doesn't get your artwork out in the world. It's not, these decisions aren't earth-shattering, brand-breaking, business-breaking decisions. They're tiny decisions to get you going and out there in the world. And then the last thing I want to say is there is no DIY heaven badge award you get for always doing all your own work. So
What?
So disappointing.
yeah. There's no award for this. I love teaching this stuff. I love getting everybody to know how to make their logos and fonts and colors and graphics. But I also know there's a point where your business is going to grow. You're going to decide, I don't really like doing these, or I do really like doing these, but I want somebody else to do this work for me. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I know, I think April talked a little bit about this when she talked about her jewelry. So there's, like Lisa said, stepping into that brand director role and knowing, okay, so I don't have to do the actual execution of all this stuff always and forever. Right now I can have my DIY badge and shine it up and love it, but I don't always have to do that or have that. And the biggest thing I want to tell you is with learning software and learning design is just to play. Like there is no there's no downside to getting in and playing with fonts and colors and software. Like you're not going to break your computer, you're not going to break your brand, you're not going to break anything by just getting in there playing. You can make a complete mess. Like think about watercolors and painting and where you just make a mess and nothing comes of it. Take that approach to computer stuff too. Everybody, a lot of people have a real fear of just getting in and playing in software. They really do think they're going to break something. So if you have that fear, work on dispelling it, letting it go, saying, okay, no big deal. I'm not going to break anything, and if I do, I can. Except for Shana, maybe.
You're holding it.
So what, you guys are all kind of standing, I'm going to make you stand up and do something. So if you get at the point where you're in a program and you're like pulling your hair out and you absolutely are like, I can't stand this, I don't know what I'm doing, there's a pose called the power pose. And if you think about it like Superman, nice. And you stand up, and you're going to see my boobs, sorry. You stand up and you put your hands on your hips and you look out over the world with your Superman cape flapping, hands on hips. That pose.
On your face, please.
There you go. All right, you guys have great Superman poses. This pose, psychologists have found, can help you get out of your techno funk or any other funk you're in. Yes, there's also like an arms up kind of pose too you can do. Whatever is a powerful pose to you. So when if today you're getting all overwhelmed by something we're doing, just get up, move your body around. Your body can help your brain get out of the funk and get back into the technology without so much stress. All right?
Yes, that's true.
Exactly.
Okay, any questions from you guys before I actually show you something instead of talk?
Yeah, any questions for Christie before we jump into some of the techie stuff? Anything that you can think of?
I don't have any questions, but I love what you said about, just making a decision and moving on. I've always thought of my blog as, okay, it's my blog, but I can always dress it up with accessories as the seasons change, and kind of like how you change your clothes, or I don't know. It's always an evolving thing, so there's no reason to just get stuck on one decision and, stress out about it has to be this right now. Uh-oh, where'd she go?
Oh, she's sharing her screen.
Well, and also the old saying, perfect is the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or getting anything done.
I look at how many
Ever.
people are getting stuff out there,
Yeah.
and and it's like, I like it, and my tech writer mind is like, oh my God, look at the misspellings in this post, or don't they proofread? And then another part of me is like, I am reading their content. They are getting their content out there.
Right.
And, I think it's a really great lesson. And, so I'm saying, thanks for that reminder, Christie, of, do it. Move forward.
I like how she said, don't hold your work hostage, because you're choosing a font. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've done that before.
That's where I am.
Scared
That's
to
exactly
start.
Like you won't present it until
Yeah.
it's exactly that font.
Yeah.
One font.
And I've gotten over it a little bit, but I still have some room to grow.
All right, good. So can you guys see, have I done screen sharing correctly and you can see my screen now and not me? Good. Okay, so you don't stare at me anymore. You can just stare at a screen. So I wanted to talk a little bit, a lot of what we're going to talk about at first is really like taking the visual part of your brand that Lisa was talking about out of your head and executing it. And to execute for us, there's software. So there's that learning curve of software to get comfortable with it so that we can actually take that Pinterest board and think about the fonts and colors and all that stuff and actually execute it. And so that's where the power pose comes in, when you get all freaked out about trying to execute what's in your head. So I wanted to talk just really quickly about the kind of the different software options there are for us for doing this kind of stuff. And I gave you guys a little kind of a little cheat sheet to tell you a little bit about some of the software. So there's PicMonkey, there's Pixlr, and there's Canva that are right now free apps. They're cloud-based. You don't have to have any software installed on your machine. You just need a browser and a web connection. And you don't have to pay anything. You just have to invest your time in learning these. And then you have the next step up. You have the Adobe products. You have Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Elements. And then you have kind of the doc design world, so Word and Pages, and there's the Google Docs app and that kind of stuff. So just raise your hands. So let me know, like, how many of you have played around in PicMonkey? All right. How many of you have played around in Pixlr ever?
Yes.
All right. Canva?
Yes.
Okay. Photoshop. How many of you guys have Photoshop? All right, so you guys, excellent. And do you regularly use Photoshop?
Every day.
Every day. Okay, awesome. All right. And then have you guys played around in Illustrator?
Yes.
At all? Okay.
That's my favorite.
InDesign. Any of you guys InDesign people?
Yep.
Nope. Yep. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to be focusing today kind of on Canva, which is the free one. But any of this stuff that we're talking about in Canva and branding overall translates to all of these different software apps. PicMonkey and Pixlr in particular are really good for photo editing. So you have a photo, you want to do something to that photo. You want to change the colors, you want to edit it, you want to cut out parts, do that kind of stuff. Canva has less capability in that way. They have some filters that you can use, but they have less capability for photo editing than PicMonkey and Pixlr. What Canva does really well is the design part. So it actually lets you work with design elements, text, photos, that kind of stuff. It's more equal to like InDesign is, where you're taking design elements, you're taking photos, you're taking text, and you're putting them all together. The kind of disadvantage of using something like PicMonkey when you're trying to make a brand is that it doesn't allow you to save the file and come back and open it up and play around in it and all that. So you end up having, every time that you want to create a file, create a graphic for your business, to start from scratch again. With Pixlr and Canva, you can actually save your files, come back, edit those files, use those files as a template for something else that you're doing. So you're saving yourself time by using that kind of software. Any of these things are a great place to just get started and practicing and playing around. But if you're trying to build something that's kind of cohesive and you want it to go together, I suggest you get started really in Canva. Just start playing around in there and seeing what you can do. And then if you get to a point where you're like, this is not doing what I need it to do for me, that you take yourself up to the next step, which is the Adobe products, and start doing and learning and working in those, because they have a lot more functionality, a lot more capability for creating templates and things like that, so that you're maximizing your time and not redoing and redoing graphics that you could create a template for and use over and over again. Okay, do you guys have questions about pros and cons of software that I've talked about, or anything else?
I wanted to just insert here. Remember yesterday when we were talking about SEO and image SEO with Lee? And she mentioned Canva, and there's the templates for the different sizes of banners and different images that you'll be sharing on your social media and whatnot. And then there's also that cheat sheet that she gave us. So we're pulling in what we learned yesterday into today's work. Now actually we're creating our branded images for the second half of this workshop. So just want to let you guys know what's going on.
So I'm gonna kind of jump into Canva, and I'm just gonna walk you guys through. It's kind of a straightforward program, but it's got some little weirdnesses because it is beta. It occasionally does weird things, and you don't know what the heck it's doing. So that's just par for the course with that kind of software. But I want to kind of just walk you through all of what it can do, you know, and just play around with it, and then you can kind of go from there on, you know, working on your own things, if that sounds good to everybody. All right, so I've got Canva up. If you guys want to kind of play along, you can. And starting a brand new design from scratch, you have two options. So you've got all of these preset sizes right here along the top, and you can just slide through those and see. You've got everything from Twitter, social media, posters, Facebook covers, blog graphics, all kinds of options there. You can choose those options, or you can use a custom dimension. So I want to show you the difference between doing those two things. So if you click and you want to do a Facebook cover, for instance, just click on that, and Canva is going to pop up another window in your browser, and your kind of page to work with here will be there. And what I love about what Canva does is that they have your little profile picture here. So you don't have to have any guesswork about where your head's going to pop over your graphic here. So that allows you to design that. And what it doesn't have is some of the new little buttons here on, you know, the right of your Facebook page. that are there with that new design. But you can kind of keep that in mind that you don't want any elements there. Along the left-hand side over here, you have layouts. So what Canva really excels at are these pre-made templates. So you can start out with any of these templates and just click on it, and it will add one in for you. And you have a start right away for your cover without putting a lot of thought into it other than picking one of these templates to work from that matches the feel that you're going for your brand. So let's go back to the home for a minute and let's go through the other option, which is using custom dimensions. So if you have the kind of cheat sheet that Angelique gave you with the dimensions on it, you may end up actually wanting to create something that's not a standard size. You may be creating an ad for your website or something like that. So you're going to click on Use Custom Dimensions, and you can put in your width and height, pixels, millimeters, or inches. So I'm going to do a little sidebar ad maybe, and click Design. And if you guys need me to slow down or speed up or whatever, or have questions, just yell them out. So what happens when you add in a custom dimension in Canva is you don't get any of the little fancy pre-designed templates. They don't have that capability yet for custom things. So you end up with these kind of placeholders that are photo grids, which you can use to pull different photos in. But that's like the main difference between using Canva's templates and then using your own like custom dimension. When you use your custom dimension, you don't get the fancy template made for you. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go back to the Facebook kind of cover image, and I want to talk to you about the font part of Canva. So is everybody with me and good, and or anybody not with me? If you're not with me, raise your hands. All right, everybody's with me.
We're with you. This is good stuff.
Awesome. So let me. So fonts in Canva. The one thing that I wish Canva had was access to the fonts on your computer. It does not have this, and so that is one of those things where you may say, okay, Canva doesn't have access to my fonts. It doesn't give me my font, so I'm going to have to use a different set of software because I want to use a specific font for my branding. So that may be one of those decision-making processes that you have to make if you are using a very specific font for your branding and you want to be completely consistent with that. It may be that Canva doesn't allow you to do that. And so it's kind of a decision to move on to a different set of software if that's a huge priority for you. Okay, so whenever you're using a pre-made template from Canva, they have text already placed in there. And you just click to select those different text boxes. And that can be a little bit annoying. So you kind of sometimes have to click around. Makes you feel kind of crazy. You have to do your power pose so that you can click on the right thing. Once you click on that text box, you can kind of see the little dots going there. You can change all that text in that box by clicking and selecting a different font. Do that. It'll change all that stuff in there. And sometimes it takes it a little bit of processing time to do that. You can also highlight part of that text in the box if you don't want it all the same font, and it'll change part of that font. Then size. Size is just another drop-down menu, so it's changing the size of the whole bit of text in that text box. Change that up if you need to. And now I've got it really crazy looking. All right. And then color. We have this little kind of color palette thing here. So if you want to select what you want changed, click on the color palette. You can choose from the presets that are already in here. So this one has presets that match up to the whole color scheme they have going on here. So you can change that up. You can always change it to white or black. And then if you want to change to a completely different color, you've got this little plus mark here. Click on that, and it brings up your color spectrum. And you can just click and drag your little circle around here and pick any kind of color you want. You can adjust the shade of that color, pull it down, make it darker, add more black or add more white. And this is why I told you you need to know your hex codes. If you have a specific color that you use for your branding, you can type in your hex code here and get that so that you can use your specific color for your branding. So the color palette's pretty straightforward in terms of you know, being able to pick things easily and add in your own colors. It's pretty straightforward. If you want to try to match up a color, like you want to match up something to the colors that are in your photo, for instance, you can kind of just drag your cursor around so you get it matched up. It's a little bit hard to see here, but I should do that on a different example. Well, this one's already kind of matched up, but if you wanted to get this closer to this pink, go in, pull it, and adjust it till you get it right. I'm still in too much purple. There we go. So that's kind of a darker bit of that color. So you could play around with this kind of all day long if you wanted to play around with the color part.
Bless you.
Okay, so now I wanted to show you the text. Let's go over to the text box. So say you have a design that you're doing from scratch, or you don't like the text that's in here, text boxes that are in here, you want to do something completely different. You can delete these text boxes. Just click on them and trash them. And when you're over here on the right in your text editor, you have some options up here to add text. So if you click on one of those, it's just going to throw a text box out into the middle of your document, and then you can adjust the typeface how you want it. Adjust the sizing. I'm going to make it really big.
That's very illustrator.
It's a good thing, isn't it?
And adjust the color however you like. And what happens when you add in the text here is that you end up with a different palette here. So you don't end up with the palette that was there when you were working with the text that they had specified. So if you liked those colors, anytime you're working with any of this and you really like a color or you like a font, just make a note for yourself, because it's not always, Canva doesn't always save out your colors for you, which can be a pain, but all right. And then you can just move the text box around if you can get selected on it. There we go. However you want to move your text box around. So pretty simple adding in the text. If you click on add subtitle text, it'll add in another box with a little smaller size. So it's doing a little bit of the design work for you and doing that font size hierarchy, you know, making your heading bigger and your subtitle smaller and your body text smaller. Taking some of that work out of it for you. And then these lovely little badges and things over on the left, you can pull any of those in too and work with those. So you can pull in coffee shop. Again, when you click on it, it sticks it right in the middle of your document, so then you got to move it around where you want it to be. And you're editing these elements in a similar way to editing the template. So each of these little text boxes, you have to click on those individually to edit.
I know.
And then this outer graphic, so this outside circle and on this one the thinner rule line around are all the same color. It's controlled by the template. So you can't actually edit that circle other than changing the color of it. So you can go in and change up the color. Okay, any questions so far?
Yes. I don't know if I missed this, but I was curious of how you did the triangle grid, like how you clipped the picture in the triangles.
Yeah, I will talk about that in just a second.
That's a great question.
Yeah, because that's like one of the big things that you're going to do in Canva. So we've gone over kind of opening up a new file. We've gone over the color picker and fonts. So those are a few of the big things that you're going to do. So if nobody has questions about this, and all of these text elements, it's the same sort of deal. So if you have one like this that has two different colors in it, when you click to edit that, it's going to bring up two color swatches. See, it has the yellow and the purple. So you change up the yellow how you want it changed up. And then you can change out the purple too. So you can get these to match up with whatever it is that your particular design looks like by clicking on the element and then editing those colors. Okay, so photos. So that's a great question. So we'll take a look at that now. So let's go over, we're going to actually go over to the uploads because this is how you guys are going to get your images in. So you can upload from your desktop. You can just drag them in here. You can upload if you have images on Facebook and you want to connect up to Facebook and pull them in. So you're simply going to click upload your own images and then go find your images wherever you have them located. I'm going to upload one I have. And it does a little kind of process where it's black at first and then it colors it as it uploads it. And once it's fully colored, then you know it's uploaded and you can use it. So these are images that I've uploaded previously. And sometimes it takes a little while to upload. In part, it depends on how big of a file you're using or uploading. You can upload JPEGs or PNG files. The two kind of files that Canva will let you upload. And then with this particular template, so when you're working with the templates from Canva and they have special kind of frames like these, each of these individual pieces is an individual frame that you can pull images into. And to do that, you just go over to your uploads, click and drag and pull it in, and it'll kind of like pop into there. It's kind of weird at first how it like pops into there. So now we've got this weird peas thing in here for no reason at the coffee shop, and a weird leaf. And when I pull those in there and they kind of pop into place, you can see that like this is a really bright green, but this is kind of muted. So whatever filter was included on this image by Canva for this particular template is also automatically applied to your picture. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so you can just keep adding in those whatever images you like in there. If you pull an image into a frame like this and you don't like the placement, then you're going to crop it. So there's the copy, forward, back, all this that comes up here, and then there's another menu that comes up down here, which is the filter and crop. So let's click on the crop. So when you click on the crop, you can drag your picture around within there. You can grab one of these handles and size up your image if you want to. So if I wanted only my peas to show and not the heart to show, I could scale that up. Now you want to be cautious because you don't want to take a really tiny image and blow it to smithereens and have it be all jaggedy. But once you get it where you like, then you can just hit the little checkbox, and then you've got your peas centered in there. Now, if you didn't like the filter that was applied to this particular one, you can click on Filter. And you can go back to normal. So there's just my photo the way it was originally. Or you can pick from any of their presets, and they have a whole bunch of different presets. Grayscale, whimsical, summer, makes it really bright looking, all that. You can do these with any photo also, not just the ones that are in the templates. You can adjust brightness, contrast, all these different things like this. And if you mess around with these particular options down here, the little sliders down here, and you get a setup that you like, there's this little filter code right here. You want to copy that filter code, and then that way you can use the same filter in other documents. So that comes in really handy if you have like a particular look that you want for your brand. Like really, if you have a really vintage, like retro look that you've come up with that you really like, and you've got this all figured out, and you want all of your photos and your branding to have that look, then you can just copy this code and apply this filter again to your photos. Okay. So if you have an image, like we have our little blank image here, let me delete that, and you want to just pull a photo in. So you just are going to click and drag and pull a photo in. So there you have your photo. And you can pull it out, stretch it out, fill up that whole page if you want to with it. And have your photo in there. So it's pretty simple to just drag and drop your photos in there and then adjust them. And then you can do what we did earlier with the filters. Adding in a filter if you want to give it a look. And you can always go back. The thing I love about Canva is you can go back and it doesn't destruct your image. You can go back and say, okay, no, I didn't like that filter, and I'll just go back to normal. And so it doesn't make that a permanent change to your photo. All right, does anybody have questions about that stuff? You guys are quiet.
Just absorbing. This is great.
Okay, so let's talk about like layers, because there's a whole part of putting together any kind of graphic where you've got multiple elements going on that you need to be able to move things around. Let's see here.
Someone already repinned me.
So cool. I love it.
All right, so I'm making kind of a crazy looking thing here so that I can show you some of the things with layers. All right. Okay. Let Canva do its processing. So right now I have this green image, and it's on top of the coffee shop image. So you have some options up here to move it. So I can say move it back. And you have to watch really closely, but when I clicked move it back and forward, there's a little bit of dots that come up over here. So do that on yours and see if you can see those little dots. And those little dots say, okay, here's where this is in the stack of elements in this design. So let's see. So let's click on our coffee shop one and move it back. And it didn't move it, so it's going to keep going till it gets it moved back, or not. Sometimes Canva doesn't do what you think you want it to do. There it goes. Moved it back. So if you have some objects that you need layered, you're gonna be working with this back and forward, and these little dots are going to help you say, okay, how far back did I put that object? And it's not going to put it behind these elements, because these are the template elements. So if at any time you were playing around here and you're like, I really don't like this template, you can go back to your layouts and click on another template, and it'll completely delete everything you did and add another template in there for you to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we haven't talked a lot about the stuff that's up here, so let's talk about that just a little bit. So as you're working, Canva is saving your file. in whatever status that it's in right now. You can change up the name of the file up here where this one says scuba. You can just click and rename that. Whatever you want to type in, and it's going to save that file for you. You can go back and you can undo things. So that is a key skill to have. For some reason, it's not working for me. All right. It does work, but it's not working for me. Okay, or that's the fun part of doing this. I need to power pose so Canva will do what I need it to do. All right, so if you get everything the way that you want it on your document, Canva saved it for you. You can go ahead and you can share it if you want to send it out on Twitter or Facebook, and you can download or link to it. So when you click the download or link button, so this is the saving out part, you can copy this link and share it with somebody else so they can take a look at what you've been doing. This is great if you're partnering with somebody on something. You can click this little button and allow somebody to edit what you've done. So if you're collaborating with somebody and you want them to be able to edit it, you can do that. You still, as the person who started the image, have ownership over it, but they can edit it. And then Canva saves out files in 3 different formats. It saves out as a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF. And I haven't yet figured out the theory behind whether they save it out as a PNG or a JPEG, and I haven't been able to find that in their information. But sometimes when you click image, it does a PNG, and sometimes it does a JPEG. So you will click on image, and if there's a photo in there that's a Canva photo, it's going to say, hey, you have to pay for this photo, so you have to go through that process before you can download it. But if not, and you're just using your own images, it's just going to download that JPEG or that PNG right to your desktop, and you're gonna have that image and be able to work with it.
Mine only lets me save it as a zip file. I wonder why.
I don't know. That's something I've never experienced. You got some kind of crazy file going on. I don't know.
Did you upload a really huge photo?
It might be that it's a really huge image.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, see what it does for you when you download it. Play around, like you're not going to break anything.
This is a good place to ask this question about, we talked yesterday about image sizes and making your sizes,
Yeah.
You're loading. Is there anything in any of these software or any of these applications that allows you to resize the image? Like Photoshop, you can adjust the size to whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's one of the like downsides of Canva is they do what they do at their size. And so if you're outputting an image that's the web one, the image option here, it's going to be whatever the pixel width is. So this is the Facebook image, so it's like 815 pixels wide at 72 DPI. If you're doing, you don't have any control over that aspect of it. So you get it output at the pixel width that you have and at 72 DPI. When you do the PDF, they output a high-res PDF. So if you have like a 5-page PDF with lots of images in it, they are outputting a 300 DPI PDF because they're outputting it to be good for commercial printing. And so you end up with a really huge file. So that's one of the downsides. There are a couple different software options, and I can send you guys a link to those for resizing your images. There's Image Optim, and for the PDFs, there's a site called, I may not be remembering the URL correctly, I think it's Small PDF. And both of those, I think the Image Optim is a paid app, probably a Mac app, so I'd have to look up a PC Mac app for you that you just drag your images onto, and it compresses them for you, specifically for use on your website and stuff. And the PDF, the small PDF, is a free site where you can drag your PDF on there and it'll make it a smaller size. That's one of the downsides of Canva in terms of like customability. Like if you're designing something in Word or Pages, you know, you can say, okay, I want this to be a really high-end PDF or a low-end PDF and adjust the size that way. And like Shana said, in Photoshop, you can say, okay, I want this high quality or low quality or that kind of stuff. But that is one of the downsides of Canva, is you're kind of stuck with what they allow you to put out and then having to adjust it if you need to for size as a second step outside of Canva. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you do the PDF, then there are also some options too with the PDF for publishing just a set of pages, publishing it with the crop marks and bleeds if you're going to take whatever you've designed to a printer, a commercial printer, and do that. So there's those options too. Let me think. I think that those are the main things. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys is there are hundreds of other little options here for elements to add to your design. There are like lines, so if you need like a little divider line, there are all kinds of different banners, all kinds of pre-made elements, and this kind of stuff can really speed up your design. So there's all that kind of stuff, and there are also their stock images. So if you wanted a particular image of a smoothie, you can do a search and come up with their images that they have that you can purchase for $1. And that's $1 per use. So if you decide that you want to use an image and you design your graphic and download it, you're going to pay that time, and then if you go back and edit it and download it again, you're going to pay again. So I keep that in mind. They're not a huge cost for what you get, but a lot of people are shocked by the fact that they have to pay for it again and again. So not a big deal. But they have lots of options in terms of images. So if there's something you're looking for to use, you can do that. And then one final thing I wanted to show you is backgrounds. They have a whole bunch of different backgrounds that you can use. So just select on those and use them. And they also have a whole bunch of backgrounds that you can purchase as well.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
Chris, I don't know if you know the answer to this because it has to do with, and Tamsin might be able to speak to it, it has to do kind of with copyright and and selling. So let's say, is there a personal use and a commercial use? Let's say that I am creating an ebook for sale. And I create images in Canva, and I'm making a profit on the ebook. Is there any issue with these images that I purchased from Canva, or when I purchase it, can I use it for sale items?
I'm not 100% sure on their licensing for their photos, so they do have a FAQ on that. I would check that out, Shana, and just double check that, because you know, every stock site has their own set of licensing. So I think that would be a good thing to check out. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't run into that for myself using Canva stuff. I generally, if I buy stock things, I generally buy from one of the stock sites, so I know their licensing and what can be done. And many of the stock sites, if you are reselling like a mug or a T-shirt or something like that, you're gonna have to buy an extended license in order to do that. So I'm not sure that if Canva has that in their licensing or not.
In their FAQs, they I don't know if it addresses this specifically, but there's one, can I publish a design with just an image from, I mean, it goes on, but it sounds like it addresses a lot of in their FAQs.
Good, good. So
yeah, always, whenever, you can't see me, I'm over here.
Hello.
Yeah, anytime you guys are using images or making images and using a third party, always, always, always read the terms of use.
Yes.
Or if you have your dream team attorney, pick up the phone, shoot them an email, say, hey, what's up with Canva, because you know
Yeah.
you
Might
don't want to
misinterpret
cross
the-
over, because it's what, unfortunately, it's an area of the law that is, and this is a total legal term, it's strict liability, which means your intention of how you created it and what you were going to do it does not factor into whether you did it or not. So
Oh.
you could have had the best of intention. The law doesn't care. It will treat you and someone who had a horrible intent, like they meant to exploit, they meant to take advantage of something. It's a strict liability offense, which means you did it, how many times, you're in trouble, here's the fee. So it's a very harsh level. So that's why you just always want to make sure, check those terms of use.
So would it be safe to say, if you're not at a point where you're seeking legal counsel yet, which you should be doing, but if you're not there quite yet, you just want to get your first branded images out there, that if you were to use this kind of software to only use your own images, would that be a safety net or not? Or is it still because you're using the software and their fonts and things still?
I think for what you're going to do, you know, the stuff that you're putting out there, using the basic stuff in Canva or PicMonkey, they know that that's what's being done. And I'll double check. You know what? I'll just add it to my list of things to double check on.
And then you would contact me also, so you could just ask.
Yeah, because I
guess that's
you'd
great.
probably be just fine.
Okay.
It's
It's for the
if NBC,
the Facebook and the whole
NBC
thing.
uses Canva, which they don't, to
Yeah.
make the footer on the Today Show,
Right.
they might have an issue.
Sure. Yeah.
You'd probably be fine. But for images, for sure,
For
either
anything
buy
for
them from
sale.
iStock Photo,
iStock, yeah.
because all those stock sites say, and they've gotten pretty good about saying, are you selling this?
Yeah.
You need extended license. They've done a better
Yeah.
job of making it easier for people to understand.
I had to buy extended license for the font I used in my book.
Yeah.
They had a licensing for the ebook and then a licensing for the print version to get the font that we purchased.
Yeah.
Which we paid for the font, but then we had to buy an extended license for it as well.
Yeah, and you run into this, which is completely applicable to students, because a lot of times you leave school and you like, oh, I had Microsoft Word as a student edition because I bought it because it was cheaper. You cannot use it in the legal realm. If you use it for your business and they were to go after you and you didn't have the business license, you would be. So it's that same kind of principle.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I mean that's kind of a big, huge overview of Canva. If you guys have specific questions, that's jumping in for you guys and kind of getting you knowing your way around and comfortable playing around in there. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. If you guys have questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to hang out while you play around and answer questions. You can send me, that little link. You can send me your work that you're working on. Shoot me an email with that, and I can take a look at what you're doing. You can try to stump me with any kind of question about how to make what you want to make. I'm happy to answer those.
I have a question.
Yep.
What do you feel like if I'm making a banner for my webpage, should I, what is just the biggest mistake of people making a banner? That you're just you look at it and you cringe as a designer. Oh, poor entrepreneur, you tried. What kind of would you just go, oh, just don't?
Yeah, that's a great question. The novice mistakes are using 10 fonts.
Okay.
Trying to use, especially with Canva, this is the stuff I see with Canva, taking what Canva does and not adjusting it to match your brand at all, not changing the fonts, not changing the colors, adding in 4 of those design elements, going crazy with those design elements. I know you guys have seen this. You've seen designs where they've got, the secret of getting whatever plus the coffee shop plus admit one. all on the graphic. And so, you know, like to bring it back to what Lisa said, and like putting yourself in that, you know, creative director of your brand role and saying, okay, what are each of these elements saying, and are they adding to my header, or are they just, I'm putting them in there because they're available and it looks fun to add that in there, kind of deal. So crazy number of fonts, that's a huge giveaway that you're trying too hard. Crazy number of colors, or a color palette that's a primary color palette, and you're not a teacher of second graders or a toy company. Those kind of things. Yeah. Honestly, starting out, simple is better. It really is better.
So would you recommend, like, for me, like, I use a lot of nature imagery. Would you recommend working with, like, 2 to 3 images and 2 to 3 fonts, and just, like, using those throughout, like, everything I create for now? Like a course, or a, you know, a sales page or something, like just kind of that repetition of imagery? Or should there be distinction so that people know that they're on a separate page for like a separate product that I'm offering?
Yeah, I mean, anything in terms of like branding, consistency is a huge part of it. It's why we recognize Nike and Google, and when we go in the grocery store and they've changed our orange juice, we're like, what did you do to us, you know? And so if you can be consistent overall with the way that you use photos, so if you use a collage and that's kind of your design element, then using that throughout the rest of your stuff. If you primarily use nature images, doing that, and then like sticking with a primary font for your logo and that kind of stuff, it's going to help people recognize you, versus if every time they see you, you look different. You look schizophrenic instead of like, how many personalities does this brand have? And even if what you choose, like going with that beta thing, if what you choose and start out with isn't quite there yet, at least you're building that and building that and building that consistency. And when you do switch, you can say, okay, I switched. I changed it up. I, updated my brand. Look at my new look. And then you go with that and go with that and go with that. And it can feel incredibly boring to creative people to not like try out every font under the sun and every color. But it goes back to the constantly reinventing yourself kind of thing, and the time spent on that versus the time spent on doing your work. And so if you can get yourself consistent and say, these are the fonts that I use, these are the colors that I use, then every single time you sit down to build any kind of graphic, you don't have to go through that whole thought process again. You just say, this is what I use, these are my parameters, like giving yourself borders to work with in your artwork. It gives you that border to work within. You can be really creative within that. Was it Amber that was talking about only having a certain number of colors of yarn?
I'm just thinking of that, yeah. So you know it's her work when you see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like, oh, like that's an Amber King scarf.
Yeah.
She's creating her brand. To piggyback on what you're saying, Christy, an exercise that you all can do if this concept is like you're getting lost in the concept and trying to figure out how it applies to your brand, pick your favorite brand, be it Nike, be it Anthropology, be it whatever it is that you really like, and get a selection of their branding materials in front of you, and pick the common threads. And you'll see that everything might have a little bit of a nuance, but you'll see that Anthropology has the same font every time you see their name. And it's not just a logo. We're thinking beyond logos here. It's everything. It's the feeling you get when you look at any of their imagery. It's the lighting they use. It's the type of models they select. It's the jewelry. Everything has a consistent feeling. That's where you're going to get to with your brand. But to start, we're starting with these images to get you practicing that consistent look with the little nuances for each item. But keep it really simple and the same across the board. And that's what to do in our workshop. And every
medium, there's the stuff that you have to work with for that medium. So if you're doing print stuff, you're not going to be able to do a stuff with really fine, thin type. Even if your logo is fine, thin type, you're going to have to use your logo large in order for it to be seen. So there's changes that you make based on the medium, like if you're doing video, if you're doing a Facebook image for, you know, those little tiny icons, you may have to adjust things. You're going to stick with your colors, stick with your fonts, but you may have to adjust things a bit to get it to fit that medium. But one of the things that I tell people to do when they're first starting out too is, as you build these pieces, you can even do this on a private Pinterest board. Add each piece to your Pinterest board and take a look at them as a whole, because you'll be working on one thing, like maybe you'll be working on a Facebook image, and then you realize that you've kind of drifted away from what your original brand looks like. If you pull it back and bring it in and say, okay, here's all my different pieces, does this fit? That can really help you keep stuff cohesive. It brings you back and says, check this out, does it fit with everything that's going on? Like Shana said about doing the, you know, Nike and seeing what fits together. So just checking with yourself and saying, is this still on track?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love it. All right. So what I would like to do for the next duration until lunch, more or less, and we'll play it by ear and see, you know, how we go. I'd like you to select 3 places online, or it could be in print, whatever you feel most comfortable with and you feel like you need branded images for. You're going to create through Canva, if you'd like, or if you want to use another software program, you can. Create a branded image that you're going to repeat. Now, don't freak out and say, I don't know what my brand is. I don't care. You're going to create a branded image that's simple, that gets a little bit of the feeling out there, so that you can start putting yourself out there as who you are, what your business is, in a few different places. Okay? So even if it doesn't feel like the brand you want it to be, create something very simple. It could be as simple as a very, you know, a background with flowers, if you like flowers, your name, designer, and then you can put that as your Facebook profile cover. It can be the top of your blog banner, and it can be somewhere else. So you get used to this idea of consistency and branding, and so that element doesn't stop you from moving forward. So I'm going to kind of push you a little bit to jump out there before you're ready, and to create in the next hour an image that I call your catch image that you can brand across a few different places online to get your feet wet with it. You guys feel okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do that. Christie will stay online. We'll all be here to try and help answer questions. And if you want to go back to that Pinterest board you started and look for some of the inspiration you had, that'll help you. And that image folder that I asked you to try and create beforehand, if you have images in there to pull from, this would be the ideal opportunity to do that and create a branded image. If you don't have a name for your business yet, just use your name. And I'd like you to put, maybe if you have a tagline or a phrase that really resonates with you and what you think your business is about or going to be about, put that on there too and repeat it across a few places. What this will do, even if it's not, you're not 100% clear what you're saying yet, it's going to get people who follow you or friends with you to start to think, oh, she's doing something and it's consistent and she's taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. So just get it out there, just to get a start. All good? Let's do it.
Yeah, if you run into stuff while you're doing this, just shout out and see if I can help you troubleshoot whatever's happening.
It's in the
Oh, so quiet.
Oh, we have yesterday's. It's not cold though. You want to switch them out? You can. Yeah, why not? And then we'll bring these tomorrow or something. I feel like sometimes it's these things that we trip ourselves up on and block ourselves from moving forward because we want this. We think that, and it is true, this branded type catch image is important because it's telling people who you are, but we put so much emphasis on it that we stop ourselves from moving forward at all. I think I can't promote myself, I can't put myself out there because I'm not sure what my brand is. Just start really simple. It could be a color. I like red, I like this font, and this is kind of what I'm doing or kind of what I want to say. Put it out there, and maybe a picture of yourself. Easy, really easy.
Can I ask a question about, like, for me, I've been doing this like a few years now, and like I've changed and evolved a lot, and so the things I'm choosing now are completely, I mean, also what we have available now as opposed to what I was doing 4 years ago. It's just like, you know, so do you go back to your old blog posts and change the images? Because I do like stuff, like, yeah, like, so I have like a series of blog posts about like top 17 reasons why the world needs you to be an artist. And so the imagery I'm using now is completely different from when I started that. And so I have this one blog post, and then there's links to each of the like evolving series. Do I go back to those ones and change the image to make it consistent?
This is just my personal take on it.
Yeah.
A couple
It
things.
annoys me.
Okay, that's what was going to be my first question. Does it feel there's not resonance for you? That it's so just
so different
that it really bothers you? And then check in on that really bothering you piece. Is it perfectionism?
Right.
Or is it really that it's really sending a skewed message? So sometimes you have to let go of that and allow the progression of the evolution to be visible. You know, just let it be. People sometimes like to see that. Like I look at YouTube videos, I look at people who have successful video vlogs, and I always go back to their first ones, always, to see what was it like the first time they shot a video, and I like to see that progression. So there's something to be said for leaving some of that natural evolution, not perfecting it and polishing it all the way back. But if it feels like it's not resonating at all, and it's really breaking people out of the spell that they're under when they're in your zone, if that makes sense, then I would update it. But you know.
And I think it's mostly this one blog series that I've been working on because I feel like I'm not finished with it yet, and so I'd like to go back and make the other ones consistent with what I'm making with it now.
I'm changing it right now.
So, but I might not go all the way back to other ones and change those images, but maybe just this one series.
Well,
just because it's only partway through.
And what I've seen as an easy thing, especially when it's a blog, is like if you're however your blog displays, if it's a bunch of, you know, like you can see, like all the, is just change the image that displays. You know, like, now I know this is my color and this is my font. So make the image size in Canva or Pink Monkey like a cover page. Like, okay, now all my cover pages, however the blog is rendering, now it looks cohesive. But when you click on the blog post, the original image is there, the original YouTube screenshot is there, but it would provide you that consistency without having to change it all.
That's smart too.
I have go ahead. I have a theory too about the going back to things. It's kind of like amnesty. So you give yourself amnesty for past design mistakes and past whatever, and you say, okay, that was that, and you go on, because you can spend a lot of time going back and redoing things that nobody's looking at, and that you're noticing, but nobody else is noticing. It's sort of like the opposite of, or similar to what Lisa was saying, where we don't notice our best things, but we also do notice like the things that bug us and the things that are imperfections too much.
That other people maybe don't see as much. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I think it's like I love how I've noticed in some online spaces for people's business, they use an image of themselves with space off to the side, and then they put like their quotable from the blog, and then they put like quote, my name, and then at the bottom it's like the website. And I was like, oh, that would have been like, I wish I would have done that for this series, because, and I'm only 6 in, so I still have like 11 left, so I'm like, not quite over the halfway part, you know what I mean? Like, go back and like make those images really quickly, but I'll just have to ponder whether I should give myself amnesty or move forward. I could just be giving myself a creative cul-de-sac. So.
Right, yeah. one thing that you reminded me of is when you're putting your branded images out there, or you're putting quotes out there, anything that has to do with your business, put your website URL somewhere on it, because people don't know who you are, where to go find you unless you tell them. So put your website URL on as many of the images you create that go out into the world as you can. It's kind of like putting your watermark on it, so to speak. It doesn't have to be big, but I know if I find something I really like, I want to go back and figure out where it's from. So that's that. Any tech questions you guys have? You're so quiet and intense. Like, I'm working. Let me just work here.
Yeah, well, I guess, like, I want to change this box. I don't want it to be so thick. I don't want my font to change. I guess I can put like a box around it.
Here you go.
Is there a way to download something you like, and then if you just want to replace the picture, will like you save it as a different one, or do you have to start over?
You can duplicate it. Yeah, I didn't show you guys that, but if you go to your home page, so you're at your home on Canva, all of your designs are right down here. And you can click on this little kind of 3 lines here, and it will let you copy that. So that's the template part. We didn't talk about that, but that way if you kind of get like a look that you have going that you want to keep replicating for like your social media graphics, you can do that and just copy it, and it's going to add it there, and then you can just click on that one, it'll take you back in it, and then you can change up the colors and fonts and add different things in or
Can you change
whatever.
the template? Like if that was a Facebook banner, could you then make it a Twitter banner?
No, that's they don't have that capability yet to do that. But within each of the sets of templates, you can adjust those.
So
But you
that
can't. Yeah. There's quite a bit of stuff that I wish they would do, and I think that they probably are going to do that will make it easier to be more cohesive and to really maximize all the different pieces. But they haven't got there yet. I think they have a list of requests. I send them one like every week and say, could you do this? And they always reply back really nicely. We're in beta, and, you know.
We're trying.
We're trying. You know.
I just realized I can make my own fabric out of my logo.
Out of what?
Out of my logo.
Are you on Spoonflower?
I am Spoonflower.
No, I'm not in Spoonflower. I'm in Canva.
Oh, yeah, see, I did,
What?
I have a
Like,
pattern.
that's my logo. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I have.
Cute. If you look on my, I don't have any with my business card. I took my logo and made a pattern.
Yeah.
I think I might have one with me.
Ah.
That is cute.
I was at one point going to make bags out of
I'm
my
like,
logo.
Oh, with the pattern with the.
Because I've always wanted to make
Shiny,
my.
but-
I'm like, okay. Oh no, what you can do?
UAI would be pretty cool. Yeah,
Wouldn't it?
coat.
Dude. See? This one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a nice pattern.
Illustrator. Because my logo
Oh,
is
very
actually
cool.
my initials, S, L, abstracted.
Now I see it.
I made it in design school in Italy. So it's
Love
an
it.
S and an L, but it's the negative space.
Oh, very cool. So cool.
I dig it.
Which layout or template should we start with if we're doing like our branding right now?
So if you don't have a website, I would focus on where you spend your most time on social media. So if it's Facebook, maybe a Facebook page. if you don't have a Facebook page for a business or your career or what you're doing, you can do it on your personal page. You can just create a page real quick. I mean, creating a page is like, great page, done. If you want to.
Mine has no cover, no nothing. So I'm going to upload the one I just did.
And the beautiful thing about all this, it's not set in stone. You can change it in a week, in a month, in 6 months. But it's good to have something out there because the thing is that we forget. We know what's going on in our brain. We know what we're working on. We know what's going on behind the scenes, but everybody else has no idea until we put it out there.
Right.
So, you have a conversation with someone, I'm working on this, that, and the other, they're like, oh, really? They're like, how do you not know? Are you not in my mind all the time? Are you not in my world? And even when you are putting it out there, it takes several touches for people to understand. Like even for the Underground Art Initiative, I was posting daily for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who's an art director, or very strong art advocate, we're in pretty close contact, and I even contacted him about the event. He asked me like 3 weeks ago, how did your event go? And I'm like, it hasn't happened yet. He's like, oh. So he kind of knew what was going on, but he didn't really know all the details. So you think that you're like covering all your bases and getting the word out and being very clear, but
That's why I try not to worry about bothering people because there's so much flood happening that it like trickles in. Like when I was doing my book release, I did 2 months of like pre-release videos. Like the book is coming out. The book is coming out.
And you got people like, wait, you're writing a book?
Yes.
It's written.
And I was just like, it was so crazy to me. Like people that were actually fairly close to me, and that's so surprised me. And it's because they're busy. Yeah. And it's not like they didn't want to be supportive and they didn't want to. I was like, I've literally been like inundating and flooding social media, of which I was like and I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna be so tired of me, Architecture, but like it was like the day of, and they're like, hey, when is your book release? And I'm like, tonight I can't talk to you, come. It's just be there. I'm not a person right now. You missed your 2 months.
There is such a fine line too between, like, there have been places that I was really interested in, and then they would start sending me a daily email.
Yeah, no,
and it's like,
different.
what are you thinking?
The email is too much.
And I mean, like in Shana's case, where I had signed up for the UAI, and it's like, so I was interested.
Right. And I said several times, you'll be getting an email every day from me, 3 emails a day to get you into each video. So I'm maintaining those expectations too.
Yeah.
Right. Like you were clear.
Places or what really vibes me are like charities that I'll donate to, and it's like no good deed will go unpunished. But then they start spamming me, and and it's like if I hear from them like once a week, once a month, something like that. Even once a week is too much. Oh, yeah. But I mean, just like I think.
Yay!
And it looks like
it doesn't look like it. UA.
But yeah, there's been some of those that
I don't know.
That ever contact me and say, telemarketing calls, and so it's kind of like, how much do people want to hear from you?
It's like the needy boyfriend, right?
Well, and it's
okay.
It's knowing your avatar. Yeah. My avatar does not need to hear from me weekly.
No.
She needs one chunk once a month. Here's what you need to know about copyright. Great, I'll see you next month, Tamsin, for trademarks. But other people, they need every other day depending on their niche, or they need a season or
twice a month, once a week.
It's knowing
or there's
what can I give that's not going to freak me out.
Nicole Gillips, I think she does like website maintenance. Gips.
Yep.
And she only sends stuff out if there's like a hack or something really important. So I always open her messages because I know that it's like crucial stuff.
Mm-hmm. She's like, hysterical.
She is.
Oh my, she is her a total. She is a complete geek on computer stuff. Yeah, she did. We did a book club with Susie Istvan, and so we were on a Google Hangout like last week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you are you are exactly the person I want in control of Acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
so I took
hilarious.
2 of her little mini courses. forgot what it was for, but it was exactly what I needed, and it was just the right amount of information, and that was that. And that's kind of like how her emails are too. Here it is, and then so yeah, I dig that.
So I'm gonna seriously be doing this all day now.
I just earlier I told Shana, I was like, I knew that I was an entrepreneur when it was like Friday night, and I was like, I just want to get a pizza and watch TV with Canva in my lap. Like, I'm gonna make images for my blog posts, and like people are gonna love them. And then I'm like, totally content. Like, did not care I was missing out on anything. I was like, I have a business. Hallelujah. You know, like so crazy that. And I feel like when you do get, I mean, clearly there are lines, like, you do need to, like, take time off and all of that, but I was, like, so enthusiastic when I first found out about Canva.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, life is so cool when you have your own business.
Yeah. Have you used Rona Designs?
Mm-mm.
How do you
It's an app for the, I don't know if it's for the Android too, but the iPhone. It's RHONA. Design. But and it's kind of like the same. Like you put a picture in there, you can then put text around it, but they have like prefab patterns and pretty letters. And when I use that all the time whenever I post like work on Facebook because it's easy. I have the photo on the phone. I don't have to go to the computer. So I really like that one.
Yeah, I like Easy. It was funny because for a long time I resisted Easy because I was like, I can't customize, I can't this, I can't that, and then I'd lose myself for hours in customizing something that like didn't really matter that much for like a Facebook post. Seriously, right? And so finally I let go and like embraced these easy tools, and it's just been so refreshing.
Will someone remind me how to get the colors again?
Ooh, yes.
Color something.
Here.
Okay. So just go there.
So if you have like it has to be something that you can color like a font.
I have to go on Photoshop.
Oh, okay. So I can't just like recolor.
No,
Oh, okay.
you can put a filter over an image. I think they have filters, right? Am I right about that?
Mhm.
Christie?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
they have filters for photos, and then the color is for fonts.
Objects and fonts.
Lines and the details that they
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
Like
I can do that in
button stuff.
one of my other programs.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, dang. My image.
Okay, who would like to order a Hujade bag? Because I am so making fast.
Oh.
I am so making.
To carry my legal documents in when I come to a meeting.
Yes.
I carry my contract folder in it. Keep your contracts. Thank you.
I could just bounce off the walls right now.
I'm working on. I love them.
Oh, what happened?
Of course,
I'm so bummed.
perfectionist.
What are you doing?
It's like the image is it has a white background that I can't get rid of.
Of course. Like, I am on it.
You know how to do these things?
Let's see. Okay. So, where did you pull that image from?
I pulled it from a saved JPEG.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Christy, are you able to toggle around and like cut out something?
No, that's one of the things that Pixlr can do and Photoshop can do, but not Canva.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
That is not possible.
Okay.
The answer is no.
The answer is that's not happening.
This is me crushing your dream right now. Just kidding.
Well, for now, I'll just make it plain.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of their images that they have, they have ones that are silhouetted out. So like in the animals, like if you want a salamander, for example, with no background, then they have some of that stuff available, but they don't have the capability for you to do that with your own images just yet.
Not yet, but probably soon.
Yeah.
You probably write them, Bree.
Yeah.
Like
Christy sent you.
even
It told me to leave white.
yeah, even like Word and Pages, they have some like rudimentary tools where you can cut out backgrounds and things like that.
That's ideal.
Really?
They're sketchbooks.
I bet we could get them to take.
It's so sad.
Everybody.
What is?
Look at
Let me
this
see.
dog.
My business card. It's so sad.
So here's a question.
I need some
What does
flourish.
the key mean to you? Why the key?
It's actually got my initials in it.
Ooh.
This is my logo I made my freshman year. I'm keeping
Nice.
it forever. And even though
I
my professor said to get rid of it.
No, wait. You have a similar, I mean, it's different but similar.
Yeah,
With a negative space?
yeah. I love it.
Check out my logo. It's my initials. See if you can see it. Look at the negative space. S and L.
Oh, I love that. I think that's
Oh.
very cool and classy, Bree. And I
Super
love
cool.
the, I love the punch with the color and then
Thank
all the
you.
negative space.
Thank you. I was
That's
really toying with
gorgeous.
it.
I mean,
And it
if you
fits
were
with
someone I
ink.
was doing business with and you handed me that card, I mean, it would just do everything I would expect from like, oh yeah, I'm working with a real professional.
Aw.
She has a real design sense. That's not sad.
No. It looks so white.
What's freaking wrong
Oh,
with
the
you,
white
girl?
is like really refreshing, really
Oh.
clear. It's very bold and it says confidence.
Yeah. Oh, it's fabulous.
Thank you.
I'm trying to see the initials.
See it?
There's a B and an M.
See, I saw it right away because that's how I think.
See, and then
No.
once you see it, you can't unsee
Then you can't
it.
See,
unsee
I
Unlocking
a
historical
bunny
treasure.
in the key.
I can
there's
see the
the
bunny.
history and antique in it.
In
So
the
Yep.
key.
I actually love antique keys. And I just like
I'm getting a
collect
tattoo
them.
of one in my
Are you?
I've already planned it.
Yeah.
Why would
Your
you
logo.
get rid of your logo?
I probably will.
Get your
I
logo.
haven't decided because I want to make it official.
No, do it.
I should just do it.
Well, it's you.
We're just
Whether
And
no
even
matter
if I
what you're
changed it,
trying
I
to
could
do.
look
You
back
should
at
go
it
to
and
London.
just say that that
Yeah.
was your
Just
first
make
development.
You won't change it. I'll tell you right
I'm
now.
sure I
That's a
won't.
strong
It's
brand.
been pretty stuck.
Oh, I don't know how to change.
Well, it embodies all of it.
It has everything. in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it does what I want to do with
Yeah.
my career. That's pretty sweet.
You want to unlock
Thanks,
the door to your actual.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this.
Well, see, and what you can do, like, if you want to try, is copy it, like, make another one, and then, like, make the
Play with
background gray and try your letters in white and see if you like it.
Ooh.
Yep.
Like, you can play with that
Oh, because you can't.
without
put it
having
right out.
to.
But see, that's the issue. So what I'm gonna have to do is
Just
get
put it
rid
in
of.
another.
You'll have
Yeah.
to you'll have to find a program that'll allow you to save it as a PNG file.
Okay.
Tumblr
Mhm.
and it and cut it.
Actually, you know what? Pixlr will let you save it as a ping, but you have
Okay.
to
So I
What-
put the picture on Pixlr.
when you open Pixlr, you're gonna open that file
Okay.
and you're gonna open a blank file. You're gonna take that image and put it on top of the blank file so it's a
I like
layer.
the line.
Is this making
So
sense?
you go to Pixlr.
So you're gonna open two images. You're gonna open your logo. Oh yeah, we'll just do it now. There may be another more official way, but this is my hack, and it may leave some pixels depending on the resolution. But for a quick fix,
We did these on InDesign, so they should have a decent resolution.
Okay, we'll
I-
give it a try.
I'm hoping. So then
Go to the Pixlr editor,
editor. Okay.
and then you'll open your logo, and then after you open your logo, you'll open just a new image.
This is my other one that I wasn't sure of. I really want to create. What is it? What is that job where you make fonts for a living? Like typeface creator. I really want to make my own
I want to make
typeface
Yeah.
someday. I think it'd be really interesting.
That's one of my. Like,
I think this is
It's pretty
stronger.
good font.
for
This
right
one
now.
is definitely stronger.
I mean, I had to buy my fonts.
Okay, so
for
now
my
open.
book,
What's
so
the
I know
size of
people
this
make
image? Go
cool
to
fonts.
adjustments,
I would like to have my own.
Yeah.
and then image
I think
size.
it's really fun.
I want my own font that's in my handwriting.
Oh, maybe it's an
You can
image.
do that. Danielle, of course, did that.
Yes.
Because she does
So it's-
all of the.
You
the
want
little-
your next
Yeah.
file to be at least this
But she
big.
just writes
Okay.
them.
She writes them.
She
Oh, I
writes
thought
them
she
and then
had
she
somebody
scans
turned
them.
it into a font.
No,
so
she
did
writes them on as she writes them like in her
With ink.
with a
She has
Sharpie.
beautiful
She
handwriting.
writes it and then she scans it.
Oh, I noticed that when she has.
My problem is my font. My font. My handwriting varies according to
the mood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna
It's like
Wow,
one
it's
day
like
copy
it'll
and
look one
paste
way,
tool.
the
A
next
mood
day
ring.
This little
the
box
other
to
way.
You're gonna select your entire logo.
I do.
the
I'm like, I
entire
want
thing,
a font
and you're gonna go up
out
to
of.
edit copy, or you can do Control C. And go to that new image. Slide this out of the way. Select it and pull it out of the way. Oh, you have to open a new image.
Oh.
So File, New Image.
Okay.
Make it at least that size.
It's almost done.
And then click, so that's highlighted.
The other sign that
And
you're
then
an
it's
entrepreneur
not highlighted
is you know
yet.
all the hex codes
Oh.
for your logo.
So just click on that image
Yeah.
so it turns gray. Click that's good. Nope, the new one. Oh, you were on it. Sorry.
When you
That's
know
okay.
your
Okay,
hex
and go to
codes
edit
by
paste.
heart.
Okay. Now this is the hack, and it doesn't always work really well. It's not like an official way of doing it, but this will work for now. Go up to the little magic wand.
Okay.
Select everything, just click on the white. Do edit clear. Do it also on the outside of the image. So now it's selecting this piece. Edit clear. You know what? Let's go unselect contagious. Hit the white again. It's going to select all the white now, not just the things that are touching. Okay, edit clear. Okay, so now this image is just this on top of another layer. So you've got, so now it's floating. Now you're going to save this as a ping. Save, and this is where it's wonky. Click here, ping. Now it's transparent. This should work unless hit OK once. Save it. I want to check something before we go back. Click on image.
Okay.
Go back up to file for a second. New image. We might have missed a step. Transparent, I missed that. Hit OK. Now go into your layers on this other image. Okay, grab that, and we're just going to slide it onto the new image and just slide it on that. Yeah, that worked. There we go.
That's it.
Okay, and so now you can save that as a ping, and it'll have a transparent background, and you can put that on your card.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is so exciting.
Like I said, I am obsessed with Photoshop. Pixlr is like a mini Photoshop. It has a lot of the same like things that you use all the time. So yeah.
This is, yeah, I love we're forced to use Photoshop in classes and in design and Illustrator, but I think I really like so far the programs that we've been using that aren't Adobe related. Those are really tricky. They take a long time.
There are a lot of options.
Yeah.
A lot of options.
Yeah.
So like with Photoshop, I only use probably a tenth of what you can do.
Yeah.
And I go the long way around to do things too that I know there are shortcuts and tools that I just haven't sat down and learned them yet.
Oh man, I wish I didn't have the Canva logo on.
Okay, Design Eye. Since I have you right here, I actually have signed people.
Ooh.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would almost make either make the transparency a little darker because the words are getting lost, or try changing the color of the words to the.
How do I get? Because that's what I was trying to do.
Story hour.
Was make it
and
like
then
solid, but it won't make it solid.
I'm like, oh, maybe that particular banner.
Yeah. Did you get it from over here?
I got it from Shape.
Go back and
I
shape
was like
it. Maybe that
totally
shape
zoning
is
out of it
transparent.
until you said something.
Sorry.
No, it's okay because it's really funny that you said that.
Okay, the
that was a really
transparent shape.
fun-
Try
One of these solid ones.
I like that.
and then just change the color.
I don't hear babies. I don't know why. That's probably a really bad thing.
Oh, you guys are
I am definitely not ready to be a mom yet.
My daughter is
Yes.
expecting our
Ooh.
Yes.
Well,
There you go.
her first. I,
And test it out and see what the letters look like in white.
Yeah, I would
Yep.
do that too.
I know.
Which is weird because I'm really not that much of a little kid person. But anyway, her baby's due at the end of October. So
That might make you go
I'll be
away.
honest though, I can tune babies out pretty well. not Julia for some reason. It must be that hormonal thing.
Yeah.
But I worked at a preschool for a number of years teaching art, and so I have this like bar for noise that I can handle, and like, but I know when to tune in when it's an emergency. So like the like meh, like doesn't get to me. But I can tell the frequency when it's like, all right, they need me. You know.
Yeah. Oh, for the longest time, I mean, I think probably till Carrie was in her 20s, that there would be some little voice in the grocery store that would say, "Mommy," and I would still,
yes,
you know,
yeah.
it's like it becomes so great.
It is. It's like before you even hear it, you're reacting. You're like, wait, okay, that's not my child.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the hormones. It's something. It's like, I swear that Julia can smell me when I enter a room. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you moved down just a hair?
I was trying to avoid those darn Facebook buttons because I don't know where they
or
are.
Or move it up a hair.
Yeah.
Just because this line right here, and then move, the text up.
Is there a way to like blow the size of this
that feels better
tiny little business card up so that I can see?
Because it was like the
everything
sliver
they're
of it was like just in and out. It needed to be a little more.
It looks.
Try expanding your screen.
That looks so cool.
And see if that helps at all. And then
so I can keep that consistent.
That and then maybe undo that and try and go back to regular screen.
Because I was trying to think of like what could I do in
what other tag
this space? Like if I had, like if I kept that
and then go into view,
but then
zoom in.
Okay, like I was writing out.
Screen.
Okay, the seasons are changing.
Oh, wait.
What would I? Different things
try that.
Focus on.
That would be easier.
To change this up.
So much better. I love
and
the
you
gray.
could use each color. You could use the blue again. You could use the green or
the orange.
I watercolor that. I showed you yesterday.
Yeah, that's hard.
Like
I was thinking about
tax
putting just
season's
this
coming up or something. Do you have your paperwork filed or like things like that? Is that what you're thinking? Like
either that or like right now. I mean, it's back to school. It's organization. It's
do you have your legal matters in order?
Then you don't want to do it.
Because like now people are more, and I have to layer. I would have to layer in like the different products, but since I have so many that are coming out in the next 6 weeks, it's like, okay, well, really, it's the business system program because for moms, September is our January.
Right.
Because September is when kids go back to school, and so you have all this time. So, which is why I delayed, like launching legal was going to launch in August, and then I stood back and I'm like, okay, none of my friends are paying attention right now. We're doing back to school shopping and
good
getting
point.
ready. And so I was like, no, I've got to wait until September, where she's like, okay, we've got our lunch routine, we've got our whatever.
Now
I'm back on my business.
Yep.
I've been off for all summer. Now I'm back. So I moved it because I was like, I'm not paying attention. But I was trying to figure out, okay, how do you use the space if you keep your branded image the same?
Right.
How do you, launching legal, releasing soon. Are you on the list?
Yeah, you can just change the text on top. You can leave.
Oh, just change this part.
You can change that part.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, because then you don't have to mess with the design, and the design is consistent.
Do you guys like the design enough,
and
or would you
what?
change the design?
I'm
just excited. I can fabric.
I like this.
I like
Do it.
I like this. It feels really nice.
It feels fun and serious at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like you.
Helping you protect what matters most. And then you can also change it to, like you could do what she was doing, which I really liked how she selected some of it, and it was like bold. And then it was the same font, but some of it was thin, so it could be launching legal, like coming September or something like that. And I like that, idea. Yeah, because I like, and you could like make the launching legal part bold. I think because like that's the important that sounds
attention.
important to like. I wonder how do you make it? Oh, is it like?
It might be the font that it.
Oh, does it not let you choose italic bold?
Is that one of the other options? Yeah, it should be down. Oh, so not every font lets you do bold. Okay. It's good to know.
Okay, so I could do a different
A
font
different
for
font
this
for.
one.
What about the one that's right above it?
And then I would do it in white
I
again.
was going to
yeah.
say that. Keep it white.
Ooh, there's.
Because if you're changing one element, but the white then
It's
bleeds
hard
together.
to bleed together.
You
Yeah.
need a different font.
What one looks like Railway Thin, but potentially Roboto
Yeah.
might have a bold option. Ooh, see, that looks more consistent.
Well, yeah, bold that and see what happens.
Looks like it just plain.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Looks good. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because white tends to bleed together more than black when you bold it.
But see, like it does.
Learned a new term.
Yeah, that.
To go look now.
Yeah, just does catch my attention.
just made that up.
No, that I can say that
Okay.
totally. Yeah, because that really, even from look back here,
It pops
like
up.
I can see launching legal,
And then
launching legal is important. Oh, it's coming in September 14th. Good. I need that. I'm clearly behind. It's my trademark color. You need to call me. I mean, my attorney.
I like making a difference between bolding like a piece of a sentence and then not because it adds focus without you having to go like huge and different.
So could you do? Okay. This is why I love designers.
I think I like.
Could you do?
Business card.
I don't know if this
You
would
get so
work.
excited when videos by Holly like something.
Okay.
I know videos by Holly. She's so cool.
She is.
And I know she wouldn't like it for nothing.
I know, right?
She wouldn't like what?
She wouldn't like it for no reason,
Just
you
to
know.
be nice.
Because
Yeah.
she's like, I like it, I don't
like
I
it.
don't.
Yeah,
And I'm
she's
like,
very-
oh, she liked my picture. She must really like it.
Really, yeah, I know.
She is so kind. I mean, she's
Yes,
never
she
the.
is.
She wouldn't say the I don't
Right.
like it,
But it would
she
just be
wouldn't put
very-
a like on it.
She's not
if she
pandering,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
She's discriminating
Yes.
and kind.
And I
That's so
trust
neat.
her more because
Yeah.
of that.
Mhm. Yes, it's honest.
You'll get an honest opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was so proud. Her last 15. Well, not it wasn't the last one she did, but the
Like,
one
could you
the last
do-
one that I finished in
I was
June.
gonna say, could you have?
And I was
Yeah,
doing
give it a
the
little more
last
breathing room on that right
5 or
side.
6
Even a
of
little
them in
more.
my
I would do
hotel
it,
room
move
in
it a little
Miami.
bit more, and then let
And,
a
in
little
between
bit more
classes
poke out the
and all
bottom.
that. But I mean,
A
one of
little
my
more.
goals is that, I mean, video is so
Yeah, there.
powerful. You can
Yeah,
use
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean,
Should I make it
not
bigger?
just
Because I was gonna, if you did.
Yeah, I mean, just
You can use
and
your
then,
arrows
like,
on your
I'm really
keyboard
good
if you
about
want to be
if
more
I see
precise.
something
Oh
that
yeah,
I
like
see,
making
like,
it
Oh.
micro
like,
movements.
Look, you and I both picked the same background for a business card.
Okay. So if you can link on this, would you do a like
camera? And
It does.
and
It
I
looks
want
exactly
in
like your personality,
some kind of
like
a
on
when
paper.
we were in
action
Canada,
word
That was
so
ever
that they
possible.
could click on it? Or does that make it too busy?
By heat exhaustion and collapse.
Do you see what I'm trying to say here? Let me see
Right.
what I'm trying to
I got
say.
to ride in the back
Is
of
this
the
too busy?
ambulance with her.
Oh wow.
And well, it
Like
was really funny.
info on
Sign up
top of
now.
that.
She knew I was an energetic
So
healer,
let's
so,
say-
we
We'll
couldn't
put it
walk
over
her up
top
the
of the
wheelchair
circle.
waiting for
Yeah,
the
like does that
ambulance.
become
Let's
too
see.
busy?
Oh,
I
no,
don't
I'm-
think so.
I would
I would still
rather
put it
you
in
fix
white
me
and
than
make the
that.
words a little bigger.
So,
Okay.
Right.
White.
And I would change the.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
so I was connecting with
Go
her
back to my
energy,
Railway
and I
thin
immediately got this.
or the
It was
I
like,
would
oh my
choose
God,
one.
Electrolytes, her electrolytes.
Yeah, I would choose one of the two. Try Railway Thin.
And so we got some
Because I like it. It's
UAI,
classy.
and I started on that, and then
I'm learning
but anyway,
so
so
much.
just because
I don't
was
remember
there
what
with her, and
my
I made it to
website's
the
name is.
So
Oh, no.
I have because
I mean,
I like legitimately went into Google to
so I
type
get
in my
so video
website and I can't
from the
remember
back of
what
an
I
ambulance
named
in
it.
Cancun.
That's
You didn't
okay.
name it your name?
I thought I did. I can't find it because I go by Bree. I didn't remember if I did Bree or I don't know. Was it Bree Kaylee? Yeah. Oh my
But Kaylee.
gosh. It was Brianna Kaylee. That's what I did.
So, and I mean,
Okay.
she
Yeah. I got
unfortunately,
so
it
now
worked.
to the
nervous.
I mean, it
second
turned out
line.
really well.
Sign up now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
And then
center.
I guess
Yeah.
this lady's name was Theo, and she's just a
Okay,
stitch.
and then
So it's really,
squoosh.
we both agreed it was kind of, it was too
And
bad that it
yeah.
had to happen that
I
way.
do
But I mean,
too.
there was no lingering
So
after
do
the
that
fact.
and then do the
It gave us
link.
time to spend
to the
together that
landing
we wouldn't have had
page.
Yeah.
otherwise. So it's very neat.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you could do in really teeny tiny letters above that, like click here to sign up now, or click here to sign up, because this is a little vague and as far as the action
How
to
do
take.
you sign up now?
I'm just like, oh, sign up now. So should it go
or
to the
just
website?
right click here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Click here to sign up!
Or click here to sign
Exclamation point. Like that's very clear.
But something about click here without the implication of obligation may attract more clicks.
Yeah, like click here to
Click
learn
here?
more.
Click here. I would say just click here.
Click me.
Click me. That's cuter. Click me.
What do you
Give it
mean?
a try. A banner.
Yeah, except you want to be careful that you don't do, like when I was doing technical writing, and I would sometimes write click and accidentally leave off the C.
Click.
Lick me.
Oh, the first C, not the second one.
Yes.
I was just thinking it would look like something that you'd buy at IKEA. This is the click chair.
Yeah, maybe that would be cute.
Yeah.
C-L-I-K.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess if you're doing legal, that sounds a little too cutesy.
Click me.
Click me.
Yeah.
Lick me.
Or learn more here.
lick me.
I like that one too.
Yeah, learn more here is
Because
good
it's
too.
sometimes the word
I
click
think it can happen.
irritates me.
Yeah, I agree.
Because so many things are telling me to click, and I'm like, don't
Yeah.
boss me. I click on what I want.
Yeah.
But that's
You
just
know
because
that
I'm
little
like an
arrow
artist, and I'm like, do what I want.
You can say learn more. You don't have to say learn
Yep.
more here.
Learn more.
Learn more, and then you can
Try
use
it.
a little-
I mean,
That's
try
cool.
it. Make a couple and try them and see
which ones get more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bree, when you were the one saying that about you don't want to be bossed
No,
around.
do you leave it the same?
But I also,
Font?
like,
Yeah,
especially
I
when I
would.
was doing tech
I think
writing
that
and
looks nice,
editing,
actually.
and like,
I like
you know,
how you
there
have
would
it
be
in the
some people,
lowercase.
I'd be editing their
I
stuff,
like
and they would,
lowercase
like,
for
with
things
every,
like that.
it would be
Yeah.
like,
It's like
giving
a lot
directions
softer
on how to do
as
something,
far as
and
like,
would be like,
me feeling like I
please
do have
click,
the option
blah, blah,
to
blah.
engage if I'd like to.
Please.
Or
And it's like,
distracted.
it's like you are doing
like
a
all
business
caps.
document.
Yeah.
They are
And it's
not
just
doing you
so
a
aggressive
favor by
visually.
clicking or by,
But
you
this
know,
to me
following
looks
the
like,
directions.
I
You're
could,
doing
like-
them the
I
favor
could,
by
like,
writing them.
Yeah.
Being
I
direct
know.
is
But like it's you know what I mean? Like it's supposed to like
I hear your voice in my head now all the time.
I know if I'm looking at directions to put something together, I want
It's just
boom, boom,
fun.
boom, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3,
And this will
and
just
that's it. I don't
be,
want
I'll just
anything
go on a
else.
little trip. I'll
If
just
it's
go on
too
a
much,
little
Yeah.
trip over
I'll
here.
just try
I
myself,
trust this
you know.
person. They're not yelling at me.
Yeah.
And like that is what
Learn more is good.
I
like
instantly get turned off
I
in
love
online
this
marketing with people that are like, and you need to get in charge now. And I'm like,
And it's yellow
that's
and
too
red.
much pressure.
Mhm.
I can't
it's
handle
flashing.
you. Like, I need to go outside and like tend to my garden.
So
Like you were just so in my face.
Which one?
I know.
That's why I
Whoa.
like videos by Holly, because some of the video people out
That
there are
feels like it
so in your
resonates more
face.
with her.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
I like the gray.
The gray, yeah.
I really
gray.
like the white.
I'd
But I
also-
can see where, you know, the subdued nature, the slightly
The
subdued,
historical,
Mhm.
because she wants to do historical building renovation.
it gives that more antique feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hola!
That's
Oh.
gorgeous.
So the second gray one?
Mm-hmm.
The lighter gray one at the bottom. Is that gray or beige?
Oh, it's like a
beige,
beigey
isn't it?
tan.
Yep, that's the
It's canvas background.
Mm.
Oh, I do like a
Yeah.
canvas background.
And I like it with that because it's the other thing I've learned with business cards.
I am a rabid
Business cards are
saver.
like they're useless. They really are. Like you know, events. But if you have something on the back that's like mine says, "So, are you legally healthy?"
That's a good
And then it has the
thing if you're putting
website.
it
So it
on.
being
So
able to
how-
put something on the
Can you
back
download.
that
Oh,
triggers an action with
by
them.
using the
So like
download
historical buildings, you know. Do you love history? Do you have a building you want to save? Like being able to put something on the back of your
Yeah.
business card that inspires action.
Yeah.
Because that's another place that you can carry, like you could have white on the front of the card and have dark gray on the back.
Yeah. hmm
And have an action.
I get my cards from Moo Cards, and they have
Oh, I
all
love
these kinds
Moo.
of options. I should show you. They're so sexy. I love my
I
cards.
need
Oh, show me.
Okay.
Because I have to get new ones, so show me.
Fashion drawing from it. So
I have to
it's
start
a
with just
sketch
my
of
name
the dress,
and
very
that I'm a
artistic
student,
fashion
and then
style
eventually
that she
like
has to bring down to the people.
my name and that
The
I'm
same
trying to
client, the
actually
same
have.
concept.
I don't think I
But
can
you
start
already
it
have a
now.
business.
Can I start it?
Yes, you can.
So,
What I tell people is you are a brand
no
these
matter
are
what.
my cards.
Oh my
And so like
Oh
I
my gosh,
have
they're beautiful.
different
So beautiful.
Yeah, I
different
finally
see all
ones
of these things.
that you can pick
Beautiful.
your
I
favorite
love
piece
it.
of art.
Yeah.
And you can
this
get
is nice.
you can get on Moo. So if you have products, you can get like, and you can get different images on them that you don't like that they don't charge you extra. You can put like 100 different images. So if you have different products, you
Christie,
can hand someone one.
I'm gonna sign off here because they're gonna get ready for lunch now.
Alrighty.
And then
Thank
it's a
you
product and not
so
just a-
much. This was awesome. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Everybody have a great day.
All right, say bye to Christy. You the best.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
She's wonderful.